we have another segment called Musical Chit Chat.
Musical Chit Chat.
Musical Chit Chat. And so we're going to just chit chat about different musical like topics. Sometimes it might be like a song or like something, you know, new going on with like, I thought I was hearing it come out of the speakers. You know, whatever, like if we find some like new song or whatever, or if something big happens in music news. But this week, I wanted to talk about a breakthrough, I guess, is the only way I would describe it in Marble Statue's songwriting techniques. I just said that in the most circuitous way you could say it. I'm going to talk about a new songwriting technique that I am employing. Is that a clearer way to say that? I feel like that's better.
It's just like a new element to our workflow.
And it's not even necessarily that it's like totally new to me, because I did do this on like old stuff that I've written. It kind of goes, I think I said this on the podcast like a while back, the podcast on Sunday Funday Live. I don't know why I just called it a podcast. I guess it kind of is a podcast, but anyways.
It kind of is.
Anyways, I said it a while back that like we've written every type of song. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we've written...
It's a podcast / virtual concert.
Okay, focus. We're talking about the songwriting. We've written how many songs would you say we've written? 200, 300?
Dude,
more maybe?
Oh god, I don't know.
Probably more if you count like all the little, you know, stuff that we've come up with.
Just little snippets and projects that we've done, and yeah.
But like completed songs, I would say somewhere around 200. Like legitimately.
Yes, between the two of us?
Between the two of us, yeah. Well, and you know, both. But anyways, so the point being is that we've kind of written all the different types of songs that you can write. Not that all of them are like amazing or anything, but just like, you know,
well, we've explored a lot of
different types of things. But anyway, for Marble Statues, what we've mostly done is like loop type of songwriting.
Loops and like riffs.
So like come up with a loop or a riff. That thing is basically just repeats throughout the rest of the song. And
add a top line over it.
And you have like a melody over it. But I was Kindle was gone for whatever reason the other day, and I was working on this little thing on the Sub 37, and
that's when I went shoot, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Came back and you were like working on this badass jam, and I was
like,
what is happening in here?
Yeah. And so like, I had some like drums and everything going, and I just had like a really basic like looping like chord progression going on, because that's what we've been doing. And he was like, dude, you should.
You good, bro?
Excuse me, I had to burp. He was like, you should make it more better. No, no, I can't remember exactly what you said.
It was like you had this groove, and I was like, we can take this groove and transpose it and come up with a chord progression that kind of goes along with a melody to where it's all flowing in a direction and it takes you somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, I guess. But instead of like just the loop happening and then you have this thing floating over the top of it, you can kind of permutate on that thing and do whatever. But with this, the melody and the chords are doing this together, and it gives you more expression and availability to have like emotional depth in the melody and in the chord progression.
Right. So we've been calling it like the string of chords technique, which is, you know, chord progression is like, it's like 3 or 4 chords, repeats and loops or whatever. And we're calling string of chords when the chords, they may repeat down the road, but it's not just like a loop.
Yeah.
And so I did it. He left again for whatever reason, and then he came back, and I had like a whole thing like, and he was like, "Whoa, dude, you're like already really good at this."
Yeah.
I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Well, it's a concept that have been thinking about for a while.
Yeah.
Because like when I first started writing songs, I would have like 2 chords and I'd be like, that sounds good. I'll just go back and forth between these.
Yeah.
And then eventually I figured out how to add like a third one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, okay, I do these 3 chords. And then the third time around, I go to another chord instead of the third one. And it kind of changes it up. But like this is like, you start a groove, and then you can take that groove and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And it's sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's really exciting. I don't know.
So, like, just for example, like, the song that you showed me was Return to Oz.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the band name.
Scissor Sisters.
Scissor Sisters. And so, like, I don't know how many people, like, are also songwriters that watch, but, like, you check out that song, you'll see it flows, like, really well.
Or even if you're not a songwriter.
Even if you're not,
it's
yeah.
a really good song.
And like, this is kind of silly, but I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's like, I think that's my favorite anime. I think I can say
it's on your hat.
It's on my hat. And I noticed that a lot of the intro songs do that same kind of string of chords progression where it doesn't just loop a thing, and it's great especially for like an intro, because it builds. And then, you know what I mean?
It takes you somewhere.
It takes you into the episode.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I've been focusing on doing that with this new song that we're writing. And then there was another thing that we've been focusing on, or at least because I'm basically just doing all this right now, and eventually I'll hand off to Kindle and we'll work together more on it. But so you obviously, Kendall's been playing Resident Evil. If you watch his video game streams,
every Tuesday and Saturday.
And so he was showing me
sometime.
He was showing me like there's like a scene where they're sitting around a table and they have like these different interactions, but you see the table and all the other like all the other dinner guests or whatever. I don't know, or I guess it's like a family or something.
From Resident Evil 7. It's this scene where it's this creepy scene where you're stuck around this table. You're sitting around like the table with like this family that's like insane.
Right.
But
when the writers or the game developers were coming up with it, just to like see if the situation worked, like the point of view camera, and I guess some of the interactions between like the characters and the player character or whatever, just to see if that would work, they literally like went to a conference room and filmed like people sitting around a table.
First perspective. First person perspective of.
And I guess there's like some roaches or something on the table.
They instead of like whatever food they were gonna have, they printed out little pictures of roaches, cut them out. They had little paper plates. And they acted it out. And it was so cool because they're all speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Like,
because she does that like creepy thing where she like slams the table and like grabs the thing, and she's like,
it's a roach or something, right?
Yeah, she does that in the game, and she like eats it, and it's like, ugh.
The important thing is that it's paper. You know what I mean? Like they're using like a printed out piece of paper with a roach printed on it.
It's all very
it's just
mocked up,
so
basic.
And like we've been trying to, I've been trying to. Obviously, there's a demo, right? And when you're doing music, you can demo things.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like less than a demo.
Yeah.
Like so we've been calling it tabletopping. We're doing a tabletop version of it because of like the referencing the Resident Evil thing.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing a lot of that with like
just lay it out. Get a basic version of it, see if it works.
Which I shouldn't hype this up too much, but like one of the tabletop elements that I did is I recorded real drums.
Oh, yeah.
So get hype.